to the NXT Podcast, your home for weekly NXT reviews and insight.
The beautiful part of NXT is that when one dream ends, another dream begins.
Find all of your NXT news, recaps, and analysis right here. So with that being said, we only have one question for you.
Are you ready?
We thought so. Let's get the show started right now.
Hey everyone, welcome to the NXT review. This is Jay. I am back again for your NXT review for the show that aired on, what's today? Today is November 13th, so this show aired on November 12th from the Performance Center in Winter Park, Florida. I'm going to get into the show, give my thoughts. So last week, just in general, last week's show was phenomenal. And anybody that doesn't think it was phenomenal, they need to rewatch it and tell me why. Please tell me why you don't think it's phenomenal. Yeah, last week was phenomenal. This week, I'm not going to say it was a letdown, but compared to last week, it sure felt like a letdown. They have started the qualifications for the Iron Man Challenge. What's it called? The Iron Survivor Challenge, because Iron Man Challenge, that would definitely be not a good thing to say. The Iron Survivor Challenge, and this is my second year watching NXT. I did watch the Iron Survivor Challenge last year. I know that, so the WWE has War Games, they have the Iron Survivor Challenge, they have the Royal Rumble, they have Elimination Chamber. They all kind of happen around this time to lead up to April, which is WrestleMania weekend and Stand and Deliver for NXT. And we're going to have the Iron Survivor matches. There's two matches, one for the women and one for the men. And it is going to be on December 7th, which is a Saturday, which I thought was interesting. So actually, it's exactly 7 days before Saturday night's main event. And Saturday night's main event's on Peacock. I know you can watch it on free TV and NBC as well, but it's also on Peacock. So, excuse me. December 7th the name of the PLE on December 7th is Deadline. And it's going to feature the Iron Survivor Challenge matches, one men's match. And you're probably asking me, if you don't know yet, you're probably asking me, hey Jay, what's an Iron Survivor Challenge match? So I will tell you. The Iron Survivor Challenge match, it's a 25-minute match that features 5 wrestlers. So 5 wrestlers, 5 men in their match, 5 women in their match. 2 wrestlers start the match, and then every 5 minutes, another wrestler comes out, with the 5th and final participant entering at the 15-minute mark. The objective is to earn the most points before time expires, the deadline. Last year, if I remember last year correctly, it was a pretty exciting match. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. We started the qualifying matches last night. So there's 5 qualifiers. So there was 2 qualifying matches last night for the women, 2 qualifying matches last night for the men, and that'll go on until the weekend. I guess the 4th, Tuesday the 4th, I believe it is, or the 3rd. And then we'll have the Iron Survivor Challenge. So. Like I said, it's a fun match, and then there's also a penalty box, and we'll get into the whole match as we get closer to the PLE. I will doing the PLE review. Luckily, because the PLE is on a Saturday, Sunday's a good day for me to be able to do the PLE review. Having the PLEs on Sunday, Monday's a busy day for me at my regular job, my real job, or as I've been told, my big boy job. And for those of you who don't know, I'm a social worker on this. That's my main job. Excuse me. So, we'll get more into what the Iron Survivor Challenge is and everything like that. But for now, we're talking about last night, and last night was the episode of NXT First thing they did when they came on was the review of last week. Again, last week was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I mean, all the people that came on, the flashbacks from ECW days, the 10-woman match at the end. And I want to, again, I know for those of you that listen to this podcast, my version of the WWE podcast, the NXT review, for those of you that listen to it every week, you probably know at this point that I heavily favor the women. At some point, and I was thinking about this before, when I was thinking about what I was going to say during today's podcast. At some point, all of these women, well, a lot of these women, I mean, eventually they're going to come up slowly, but at some point, all of these women are going to make it to the main roster. The main roster, the female division, right now, the main roster female division is just okay. Maybe just okay. I mean, to be honest, it's so okay. You've got probably your top actual wrestler, female, as a tag team champion. Which she should be fighting for one of the titles, for one of the singles titles. But you've got I'm not going to say you've got no women's tag team. You've got very few women's tag teams. You've got, they're piecing things together, and then we'll talk about piecing tag teams together again when we talk about the NXT show. You've got the title on Raw being hijacked by Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley for the last few months. You've got Nia, who is a great champion on SmackDown, but she really has like 2 or 3 people that are viable options to take a title from her. And then you've got a plethora, I use the word plethora, a plethora of talent in NXT getting ready to be boosted. So, at some point, and I know the draft is coming up next year, and obviously we know what everybody can come up at the same time, but there is a lot of women, and unfortunately some of them just came in. Stephanie Becerra and Julia, just came in, but there's a lot of competitors, female competitors, that are going to go up to the main roster at some point. And the women's division, the main roster, so the ones that are coming up in addition to the ones that are there, is going to be crazy. And again, I say this, I know that they did a women's PLE a couple of years ago. Excuse me. But they literally could have another women's PLE if they put all the shows together. It's just a thought, but it would be great. And to be honest, if you the last 2 weeks of NXT, they have started and ended the shows with women's matches. They did it last week with the hardcore match between Lola and Jada, and they ended with the 10-woman tag match. And then they did it again this week. They started out with the tag team, the Stephanie Vacour and Julia match versus the Metaphor Girls. And then they ended it with the North American Women's Championship match. They are very much heavily invested in their women's division. And they're starting to talk a lot more. The commentators, they're really starting to talk a lot more about how this is, and I've been saying the same thing for weeks now, this is the premier women's division. And to the point where, we can go through the match. I'll go through the matches, but we've got 1, 2, 3. We have 4 out of 6 matches were the ladies' division. The only 2 matches for the men's division last night was the Iron Survivor qualifying matches. That's it. There were no other men's matches last night except for they had to put the Iron Survivor qualifying matches on because it has to be all set before Thanksgiving or just after Thanksgiving. So they're taking up the majority of they did last night. They took up the majority of the time. So yeah, I hope they continue to push the women. I hope they start. Obviously, the draft isn't until I think April or May. Probably May, because WrestleMania weekend is like so far into April this year. They need to really think about who they're going to move up, because there's enough people and there's enough women in NXT to keep it sustained at this point, and there's some women's wrestlers needed in the main roster, especially if either of the shows, SmackDown or Raw, go to 3 hours. They have to have other viable competitors, women competitors. So that's my spiel about that. I'm not gonna continue it too much longer, but you all know, like, again, if you've all listened to the NXT review on a regular basis, you know how I feel about it. And by the way, I grew up in the Attitude Era. Like, obviously the Attitude Era is vastly different than it is now. And now so back then we focused on show, right? We focused on things that we don't focus on anymore, if you get my drift. If you don't, then message me and let me know. But now it's all focused on the wrestling. And that's what's awesome about it. So, as we said before, let's talk about the show last night. As I said before, it has been originated from the Performance Center in Winter Park, Florida. Excuse me while I put my glasses on, because I can't see anymore, that I'm getting older. And our commentators, once again, are Vic Joseph and Booker T, and our ring announcer is Mike Rome. And as I said, they did a recap of last week first, before the first match started. And your first match is Stephanie Vacour and Julia versus the Ladies of Metaphor, which is Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend. And part of the intro to this match was basically Lash and Jakara saying, you know, we've been smoking on Raw and SmackDown, and you guys have been down here. And you got to think about this for a second. Jakara and Lash Legend, they went to Saudi Arabia and fought. Like, I'm sorry, I would guess that they're going to be the first women to get bumped up permanently. But we shall see. So, this match was a pretty good match. To be honest, all 4 of these women are phenomenal wrestlers. I mean, I would guess that the weak link of the 4 of these women is Jakara Jackson. And I'm not saying that she's weak. I'm saying that of the 4, she's the weakest. Lash Legend is phenomenal. I know I keep using that word. You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. Princess Bride reference, anyone? So, Lash Legends is awesome. Julia and Stephanie are amazing. I personally, of Stephanie and Julia, I personally prefer Stephanie's wrestling, but that's just me. I know, to be honest, most people, you could probably flip a coin and pick one. I prefer Stephanie. That's just me. At the end of the match, we've got Julia with a missile dropkick. Stephanie hits the package backbreaker. Then Julia and Stephanie connect with the double Kimagoi to pick up the victory. And after the match, Blake Howard comes in. I was wondering who this guy was. Like, all of a sudden, this guy's coming in to interview. I'm like, who the heck is this guy? His name is Blake Howard. And he talks about the 2 of them competing in the Iron Survivor qualifying matches. And Stephanie tells Julia that she saw this coming at some point. So, are they going to have to go against each other in a qualifying match? I hope not, because I have to tell you, I would rather see them both in the Iron Survivor match. But we'll see what happens. So your winners of the match were Stephanie Vacour and Julia via pinfall. And then we got a video package of the concept of the Iron Survivor Challenge match and what that is. Okay. The second match was, again, so going back to the whole women's thing, I'm sorry, I did say I would stop, but I'm going to do it again. Going back to the whole women's thing, you've got the first match, women's tag team match, first match. Second match, you've got the women's qualifying match for the Iron Survivor Challenge between Cora Jade and Sol Ruka. And I have to tell you, man, Sol Ruka is also really cool. She's really cool. The way that she's so fluid when she moves, she's flexible as all get out. Oh my God. And don't get me wrong, I actually really think Cora Jade's awesome too. And unfortunately, this is for me personally. This was one of those, well, somebody has to lose scenarios, because I would have loved to see both of them in the Iron Survivor Challenge. Unfortunately, there's only 5 spots. This was a great match, and Sol Ruka's finishing move, it's a cutter that she calls the Soul Snatcher. And I have to say, there was a video played from Cora Jade about how she will not have her soul snatched by Sol Ruka. Guess what? She did. So at the end of the match, Ruka blocked a double underhook DDT. She avoided a rising knee strike, and then Ruka connected with the Soul Snatcher. And the Soul Snatcher so if you don't know what the Soul Snatcher is, if you haven't seen it, or if you don't know what it is, it's a cutter, but so she climbs the ropes, does a backflip into a cutter, like an RKO type cutter. And it's really cool. Like the movement, it's innovative. It's probably like a little version of the Cody cutter, but like cooler than the Cody cutter, because Cody's is just okay. That's just me. I like Cody Rhodes. It's just, unfortunately, there's a lot more cooler guys. Cody Rhodes is, I've heard Matt talk about this in his podcasts. If Cody Rhodes did not have the song, if he did not have the Kingdom song, I don't think he would be as big as he is. That's just me. And to be honest, he didn't have it the last time through, and we saw what happened then. The last time he was in WWE. So the winner of the match was Sol Ruka via pinfall. Then we have Javon Evans and Cedric Alexander. And they're talking about their qualifying matches. They each had a separate qualifying match for the Iron Survivor Challenge. Cedric Alexander was going to be taking on Wes Lee later on, and Javon Evans is taking on Lexis King. So that those were the pull-ups for the matches. After that, we have Ashanti the Adonis. He comes out and takes issue with Carmen Petrovic having a conversation with Dion Lennox. Dion says that he and Ashanti are not best friends, and he suggests that Ashanti and Carmen should learn to team up in a mixed tag match against... So, what I'm reading says that he should be in a mixed tag match to get along better. And then Brindley Reese is there, and she kind of suggests that, okay, then we'll do it. We'll do it with Carmen and Ashanti versus Dion and Brindley Reese. So that's what's going to happen next week. We're going to have a mixed tag match. So that seems to be interesting. Then we see Ava holding court with the NXT Tag Team Division. Okay. It's not just NXT whose tag team division sucks. It's all of them. I mean, there are obviously Motor City Machine. To me, Motor City Machine Guns are the quintessential tag team right now. The fact that they put the titles on them within a week of them coming was a brilliant move. Brilliant move. They are a tag team. The rest of these teams, a lot of these teams, are put-togethers. The tag team division in NXT, their champions, and I know I've mentioned this before. Their champions are a throw-together tag team. Now, granted, they've never been a tag team for quite some time. They've been doing it. They've held the titles on multiple occasions in the last year or so. They are more of a tag team now than they were, but they were also thrown together. All these teams, I don't know. They just I looked at the teams for this. They're doing something with all of these tag teams, and Ava's in there, and she's saying she has something planned, but she didn't say what. And then, they're all just start yelling at each other, and it's just so annoying. I remember back when I was a kid, okay, we had tag teams like the Hart Foundation, Demolition, the British Bulldogs, Powers of Pain, Legion of Doom. I mean, these were actual tag teams. These tag teams in all three shows, and I'm not pointing out NXT, although that's who I'm talking about today, because that's who I talk about usually. But the tag team divisions in all of them are just so lackluster. The Raw Tag Champions are a throw-together team. The champions before, like not the Bloodline, but the ones before that, they were Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. They were a there's so many throw-together teams. They need to redo the entire tag team division. I honestly, I miss the old days when it was, these were, like, they came in as actual tag teams. Again, the Hard Foundation, British Bulldogs, Demolition, Powers of Pain were put together and then they were separated. But all the 80s and the Rockers, like before Shawn Michaels, kicked him or threw Marty Jannetty through the barbershop window. Anyway, so that's what happened with that. They all got together and they all started screaming at each other, and then we went to commercial. The third match was Wesley versus Cedric Alexander for the Iron Survivor Challenge qualifying match. And at the end of the match, we have Wesley delivering a cardiac kick for a 2 count. Alexander then avoids a 450 splash. And then Alexander has inside out lariat, which, let me tell you, he gave him a clothesline that knocked him out of his shoes practically. And then, as Alexander's playing for the crowd, Keith Lee removes the middle turnbuckle pad. They kind of try to make it seem like it was an accident, but it wasn't an accident. And then Alexander, as the referee is trying to put the pad back on, he hits the Michinoku driver for a 2 count, and then Lee drop kicks Alexander into the exposed steel of the pad because the pad fell back off after the referee tried to fix it. And Wesley connects with the running Meteora to pick up his injury. God, have you ever seen a Meteora? Sky does a Meteora, Wesley does a Meteora. Like, the Meteoras, they look like they don't look like it's not fake, pre-planned, but it looks like it hurts so bad. I never want to get Meteored by anybody. I'm just saying. So the winner and the next first qualifier for the Iron Survivor Challenge for the men is Wesley. Then, in the back, we've got Shawn Spears and Brooks Jensen, and they're interrupted by Tony D'Angelo. They interrupt Tony D'Angelo at dinner at his restaurant. The Don doesn't like being followed by Spears and Jensen all the time. Spears says that he's persistent. The Don calls Spears annoying. Spears says that he let Tony slide 2 times. He knows that the Don made a huge family. He feels like he can similarly impact if he was the NXT North American champion. And the Don reminds Spears that it took almost 3 years and dethroning a monster to capture the title. Which, by the way, Obafemi's been off for like weeks now. And I hear that he was saying goodbye to people after, not last week, the week before, saying goodbye to people from NXT. I have a feeling that Obafemi is going to show up on the main roster soon. Because he hasn't been there in a while. He's not hurt as far as I know. The last match that he had was the second match with against Tony D'Angelo where he lost. So I would look out for him on the main roster. I'm not saying I know anything for sure. I'm just saying it's possible. Spears says the difference between him and everybody else on this roster is that he is starving. The only thing that will satisfy his appetite is the NXT North American Championship. That's it? That's all the thing that's going to satisfy you? Okay. Spears appreciates the Don giving him some time, and Spears drives away from the restaurant, and a mysterious man and Jensen are in the truck together. So we'll have to see who that is moving forward. Then we have Byron Saxton. Good to see Byron again. We haven't seen him in a while. I know he's been on NXT, but I feel like he's not getting a lot of time. Byron Saxton's backstage with Kalani Jordan. This is the moment when she's been waiting for since Halloween Havoc. As soon as the bell rings, she's coming straight for Fallon Henley, and she doesn't care if she has to deal with JC Jane and Jasmine Nix. They can suffer all the same fate. Kalani says that she's getting her title back tonight. Fatal Influence takes issue with Kalani's statements, and JC says that one way or another, Fatal Influence will get the best of her, and Kalani says that that's on site as they decide. Kalani says that's on site as they walk away. So then that's, by the way, that's the main event of the game. I think I mentioned that already. So then you've got a segment with Trick Williams. He's in the ring, and he says, Philly went crazy last week with both Deadline around the corner. Just to remind them, last year at Deadline he won the Iron Survivor Challenge, and things looked good for Trick Willie. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. Last week, me and Bubba Ray put Ethan Page through a table, but no, that's not what I'm here to talk about either. I'm here to talk about Ridge Holland, who pinned me, and he got one on Trick Williams. Newsflash, Ridge, Trick Williams ain't going out like that. What I'm trying to say is, Ridge, get your punk ass out here. That's a quote. This is a PG-13, PG-13 show. So then Andre Chase comes walking out and says, I apologize for the interruption. You know I've got no beef with you, but I still have beef with Ridge Holland. I'm not done with him. Not yet by a long shot. And Trick says, I can see that, Mr. Chase, after everything Ridge did to you, after everything Ridge did to destroy Chase you, but I'm thinking about it, and after everything that he's done, you still found out how to get back on your feet. Right, Mr. Chase? Call him Mr. Chase. Like, the whole time, Mr. Chase. Yeah, look, Mr. Chase, you're a staple here in NXT. You've done everything here in NXT. Well, not everything. When I think about it, you ain't got a chance at the NXT Championship. How about one day, one moment only, forget everything Ridge Holland has done to you? And then Ridge comes out and goes, whoa, 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 whoa. This needs to stop right now. Andre Chase getting an NXT title shot, and you can call yourself the champion, Trick, ducking me for a man that I put in an ambulance 2 weeks ago. That's not wrong. Professor, you need to learn that I've moved on. And Trick, I made the famous ECW arena fall deadly silent after I pinned your horse. And I know some people know exactly what I said. Okay, moving on. And you know that I'm the biggest threat to your NXT title. And then Andre Chase says, wait 1 second. After everything you put me through, everything you put the university through, I want one more match. And Ridge says no. And Andre says, I'll put the university on the line. If you win, Chase University is yours. Okay, so my first reaction to that is, so? Like, oh, so he wants he's gonna put up the university? I know that we're supposed to think that this is a real university, but come on. It's basically 4 guys. 3 guys and a girl. I'm sorry, a woman. She's 19! My daughter's 19. She's 19. She's a girl. But she's a woman for the sake of purposes of this conversation. So Ridge Holland says, I don't care about your precious university. You've already gambled it away and got it back. The only thing I care about is the NXT title. And then Trick says, whoa, I think I got it. Ridge, you want a chance at the NXT Championship? Mr. Chase, you want a chance to whoop his ass? Again, quoting. Okay, I've got an idea. I think we'll go see Ava and set up next week. Ridge Holland versus Andre Chase, and the winner gets a match with me at Deadline. But I ain't gonna lie, I'm pulling for you, Mr. Chase, after everything you've been through, after all the hard work of the last few years, after everything you've overcome. Look, Chase U is out here for you. NXT loves you. It loves Chase U, and Chase U loves NXT. You hear that, Ridge? That's a connection. That's a relationship. And while they're going, the crowds are with the U's and stuff. A relationship that has grown with Duke, a relationship that's grown with Riley, and a relationship that's grown with Thea. And then Ridge says, hold on a second, I'll take that. And then Andre, you'll take what? And Ridge says, I want that. What he just said, if I beat you, I want a relationship with Riley Orton. Though the relationship with Riley Orton Osborne is done. MVP Duke Hudson is done, and if I beat you, your relationship with Thea Hale is done. And was I the only person that thought that was a weird statement to make? Again, she's 19, and I don't know. It was weird. Well, you've got nothing. For a man that can never win the big one, it's quite a gamble, Mr. Chase. What are you going to do? And Andre Chase, after thinking about it for a couple seconds, says, you're on. And I'm going to give Andre Chase University a university-sized ass whipping. Excuse me. I'm sorry. And then Holland rocks Chase with a forearm smash, and Trick drops Holland with a bookend. And Chase and Trick delivers the Chase You stomp to close the segment. So, next week we got a title, a number one contenders match between Ridge Holland and Andre Chase. And that should be a good match. I mean, the last match was an ambulance match, and I thought it was awesome. So, then we have Josh Briggs come out, and he introduces Yoshiki Inamura to Ava. Inamura is the latest signing from Pro Wrestling NOAH, and he says that he's honored to be in NXT. And Eddie Thorpe comes out and is tired of being blown off by Ava, and Thorpe will now have the opportunity to qualify for the Iron Survivor Challenge match. Okay, the next match we have is Nikita Lyons versus Adriana Rizzo with the family. It says with the family, but it's not. The family wasn't out there. This match came as a result of, supposedly, and this is where we have to think, even though we didn't see it, Nikita Lyons taking out Rizzo a few weeks ago before the match between the Don and Obafemi. So this is basically Rizzo's payback. Rizzo paid back. So Rizzo lost the match. So Lyons sends Rizzo to the corner. Rizzo kicks Lyons in the face, and Rizzo goes for the flying Lou Thesz press. But Lyons blocks it. Lyons super kicks Rizzo. Lyons connects with the Vader Bomb to pick up a victory after the match. And after the match, Rizzo sneaks out of the ring. Not sneaks, she just got out of the ring. Grabbed a crowbar and just clocked her in the back of the head with it. As you would if you were a mafia family, right? So, there you go. After that match, Andre Chase is telling Chase University that the university was built on taking risks, and next week will be no different. They will be riding the highest of highs, and Mr. Chase finally gets his first shot at the NXT Championship at Deadline. Okay, and then we have a vignette about Zarya. So basically, Zarya telling us how awesome she is, which we all know. Okay, moving on. Next match. The fifth match is Javon Evans versus Lexis King, and it's another Iron Man Survivor Challenge match. And at the end of the match, we have a forearm exchange. King slaps Evans in the face. Evans takes a flying. Evans does a flying forearm smash. Then Lexis King with a boot to the face. Evans answers with a handspring corkscrew kick. And Evans delivers a 5-star frog splash for a 2 count. King hits a backstabber for a 2 count. And then King with the half Nelson driver for a 2 count. And then Evans super kicks King. And then Evans connects with a hold it in the row for pickup victory, which is basically a twisting splash. He calls it hold it in the row, which I think is interesting. So the winner of the match and goes on to the Iron Survivor Challenge is Javon Evans. So we've got Javon Evans and we've got Wes Lee so far in the Iron Survivor Challenge. Then there's a backstage interview with Axiom and Nathan Frazier, or Fraxium, and Nathan Frazier tells Axiom that he's asked Ava to put him as in a qualifying match for the Iron Survivor Challenge, and Axiom gets pissed that he's not focusing on the tag team titles, which they've had now. And again, they're a thrown together tag team. They're great together. Don't get me wrong, but you know what's going to be great? You know what's going to be great? When the two of them go against each other. That's what's going to be great. I can't wait to see that. Then They said next week on the NXT, the men's and women's Survivor Challenges qualifications match will continue. And then we had the main event, the last match of the night, which was Fallon Henley, and Fatal Influence was there as well, versus Kalani Jordan for the WWE NXT North American Women's Championship. At the end of the match, Jordan drives Henley into the turnbuckles, and Jordan puts Henley in the top turnbuckle. Jordan, with the roundhouse kick, hits the avalanche Spanish fly. Let me tell you, I love the Spanish fly. And I feel like it's been around for a while, but it's only recently that they've used it more often. The Spanish fly, whether it hurts or not, like the optics are great. I love the Spanish fly. Anyway, and then Henley avoids the 450 splash and hits with a body scissors roll up for a 2 count. Jordan ducks a clothesline from Henley. Jordan, with the standout slam, connects with the split-legged moonsault for a 2 count because JC Jane put Fallon Henley's foot on the rope. And by the way, if she hadn't done that, Kalani Jordan would be a North American Women's Champion again. So, okay. So she put her foot on the rope. Jordan goes for Fatal Influence. And with that, the O'Connor roll for the 2 count. JC delivers the rolling elbow behind the referee's back, and Henley connects with a Famouser to pick up the victory, a la Badass Billy Gunn. After the match, the entire NXT tag... So yeah, after the match, the entire NXT tag team division decided to come out and beat the crap out of each other. Again, the NXT tag team division is lackluster, and they could try to make it as awesome as they want. It's not going to work as far as I'm concerned. That's just me. So anyway, the winner of the match, and still the NXT North American Women's Champion, was Fallon Henley pinfall. So overall, the show is pretty good. If I was giving last week a 10 out of 10, I'd probably give this a 7, 6.5, 7 out of 10. They can't all be winners, but this one was okay. Next week they're going to continue the Iron Survivor Challenge qualifications, so we look forward to that. And then also next week we have the match between Andre Chase and Ridge Holland to see who goes against Trick Williams. And okay. So, originally I was going to be like, well, obviously Ridge Holland's going to win. I mean, they're kind of setting up the whole thing. But then, when he put Chase University, like, on the line, I thought to myself, well, maybe Andre Chase will win. I don't know. Tell me what your thoughts are about this, because I don't know. I'm not sure. If anything, they're going to have to figure out what to do with Chase University. But then I guess on the flip side, the last few weeks, Chase University really hasn't even existed. So we'll have to see what happens. Anyway, don't forget about Patreon. Don't forget about subscribing to Apple Podcasts for your ad-free experience with the WWE podcast. And again, I tell you every week, nobody does it, but please, somebody, put in the comments, questions, comments. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm right. Tell me why. I want to know. And until next time, until next week, that's going to be let me tell you, this next few months between NXT and the main roster, it's shaping up to be really good. All right, talk to you later.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.